Okay. Our presentation today will take the shape of how we've been able to change our school over the last 2-3 years, really, and how we've been able to embed the practices of the AiZ initiatives into our curriculum and across our school. First of all, we'll have a look at our history and where we've come from.
Well, Merrilands is located in Reservoir, obviously, but a lot of our students actually do come from areas other than Reservoir. So we get a lot from the northern suburbs, so more from Thomastown, Lalor, Kingsbury, Campbellfield. There are approximately 320 students from Prep to 12. However, this year it's from Prep to 10 because we're going through the merger with Lakeside and Ruthven. Our VCE students are now at Lakeside, on the Lakeside campus. We do have a very low SFO as well, with approximately 75% of our students in that category, and over 50% are from non-English speaking backgrounds.
Our enrolments have been declining, and so that's why we're in the position we're in with in terms of regeneration. And there's also been a major disruption to the leadership of the school over the last 7 years. So we've had 5 principals in that time, and I'll go into some of the effects of that in just a moment.
We have been a Prep to 12 college since 1997. Previous to that, we were Merrilands High, and then we merged with Keon Park Tech in 1993, and again with Merrilands Primary in 1997. And now we're looking to merge with Lakeside and Ruthven in the coming year or two.
Now, as I mentioned before, there were some major changes that occurred throughout the last 7 years. But prior to 2009, first of all, we had a traditional 6-period day. However, because our student numbers were quite low, a lot of our VCE classes meant that they either had to be collapsed as groups of 11 and 12 students together in the one subject, or that those subjects needed to be cancelled altogether. With the lack of a consistent leadership throughout the school, there was no clear pedagogic plan for the staff to follow. Staff continued to continue with their normal practices, and there was no change to the school, so things continued the way they were.
Last year, Wayne Hill was appointed our principal, and he came from distance education where he was the assistant principal there, and we've moved in a very new direction very quickly, which was a good thing. Because of our extensive staff evaluations and reviews, we've identified areas or directions in which we would like to take the school, and it was a very collaborative approach. We were all consulted in what we thought were the needs of our school and in which direction we thought that we should go in.
Okay, so first of all, what we decided to do was to split the school up into 3 sub-schools. We had a P to 4 focus, 5 to 8, and a 9-10. Now the P to 4 area maintains a very primary focus, and they've got their own segregate yard area where they're away from some of the largest students. In the 5 to 8 area, all those students are together in the same wing, if you like, with shared locker bays and so on. And now we move into the 9-10 area.
We have really focused on the 9-10 hub in particular this year because we've had a look at our student opinion surveys. We found that Year 9s in particular were at risk, so we thought we would focus on the Year 9s and 10s in order to increase their chances at getting better results, particularly leading into VCE. The emphasis has been on the behaviour management, and we've looked at Ray Lewis with the AiZ initiatives, and all staff have been trained in the Ray Lewis initiative and trialling it in the 9-10 hub. So we do have a very, I suppose, prescriptive way that we deal with kids who do come in and deal with the coordinators, and all staff are expected to develop relationships with students in the 910 hub. And because we are a small school and the cohort is generally, we all know the kids really, really well, that tends to work to our advantage.
In addition to breaking the school up into the 3 sub-schools, we've also changed our timetable, where we run 3 double period blocks. So we start off in the morning from 9 till 10:40, recess then until 11 o'clock, from 11 till 12:40, then we have lunch for 40 minutes, and then the last period 1:20 to 3 o'clock. Now on Mondays and Wednesdays we have our scheduled meeting, after school meetings, but on Tuesdays and Thursdays staff have got till 3:45 in order to plan, correct and do all their preparations and so on for their classes. As you can see there as well, we've in the 9-10 classes are locked on together, and teachers are off together at the same time as well. So you've got all your maths or science classes on at the same time.
The timetable was structured this way so that we have teachers of the same subject of the same year level teaching at the same time, and hopefully off as many periods as possible at the same time as well. So this really facilitates how we can collaboratively plan, observe, team teach, and then feedback on what we've done. I'll give you an example of the Year 9 maths teachers. They actually plan their lesson together, and they follow the Japanese study, which Peter spoke about in the numeracy training, where they plan the exact same lesson, and then one person goes in and observes how the other teacher teaches it. They then come back and they talk about what worked well, what didn't work well, how they can improve, how the kids responded. Then they go back and the other teacher teaches the same lesson, and then you have a look at the differences that way, and then they come back and they feedback. In terms of that, it works really well. Our timetable really facilitates that happening. And that doesn't just happen in maths, it happens in other subjects as well. I teach science, and with the Year 10 teacher, we have Mondays and Fridays for our science classes. Wednesdays and Fridays for our science classes. On Wednesday, for example, we do a combined theory, where we look at literacy. So the kids do either worksheets or work to do with enhancing their vocabulary and getting their knowledge ready and all the stuff that John Munro does. And we also do numeracy, where they have to plot and use graphs or work out formulas. And then on the Friday we do the hands-on, the practical science stuff. And then the teacher and I are off on a Tuesday together, and that's when we plan for those lessons, and then we reflect on that. And you'll see a little bit further on when we actually have a pro forma of a lesson plan that we fill in, and we also have a pro forma of the feedback sheet that happens, or the evaluation sheet that happens after the lesson.